Riftwalkers Radio is waiting for you.
Just step through the rift.
And discover a world of fantasy like you've never heard before. All right, strap in, everybody, because today we are going way back to the beginning of, well, everything.
At least to the beginning of creation, Irish style, that is.
Right, Irish style. We're taking a deep dive into Celtic mythology, specifically the Irish creation stories.
You know, what makes this deep dive even more interesting is the fact that we're dealing with stories that were mostly passed down orally.
Oh, yeah, for sure, like generation to generation, spoken word, you know.
Right, exactly. And then much later, they were written down.
By monks.
Right. Often by monks, yeah.
And monks who, let's just say, maybe added their own interpretations, shall we say.
Absolutely.
It's like we're trying to put together a puzzle.
Yeah.
But some of the pieces are from a totally different puzzle.
That's a great analogy.
Thankfully, our source, this amazing YouTube video, has done a great job separating the ancient stories from the later, how do we say, embellishments.
It's almost like a constant process of rediscovering and reinterpreting even these ancient stories.
Yeah, it really is. And it reminds us that so much of what we understand about these stories
depends on who's telling them and when.
Exactly.
So imagine this, a void.
Okay.
And not just an empty space, but a place where even the concept of time doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
It's from this nothingness that these two powerful forces, Danu and Bile, emerge.
And these aren't really gods in the way that we typically think of gods.
Right. They're more like...
These are more like fundamental forces of nature.
Yeah, like the yin and yang of Irish creation.
Exactly.
Danu embodies this nurturing, flowing essence, kind of like water, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas Bile is more this transformative, sometimes fiery energy that shapes the world.
It's like imagine watching a river carving its path through a landscape.
Yeah.
You know, that persistent force that's shaping the very earth.
Yeah, it's steady.
Yeah.
And that's Danu.
But there's this inherent balance between the two.
Right. It's not like Bile is destructive fire.
No, not
It's
really.
more like a controlled burn.
Mm.
The kind that actually helps new life to flourish. That's a great way to put it, a controlled burn.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this really speaks to a worldview where creation isn't about a battle between opposites.
Yeah.
It's more about this harmonious partnership.
Right.
And from this union, something truly extraordinary arises.
Aru.
Aru, exactly. The embodiment of Ireland itself.
Not created, but Aias the land.
Exactly.
Her essence is in every rolling hill and rushing river.
That's a good way to put it.
The YouTube video we're using actually doesn't depict her as this, you know, classic goddess of beauty.
Yeah.
Instead, she's wild.
Yes.
She's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
She radiates this raw, untamed energy.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's refreshing.
It challenges the, you know, stereotypical beautiful goddess image.
It really does.
She's not just pretty. She is the source of life.
Yes, she's the source.
And she's powerful.
And a fierce protector of that balance, too.
Oh, for sure.
But Danu and Bile recognize that while Aru is powerful,
Yeah.
she would need guidance, you know?
Skilled hands?
Skilled hands to help shape and nurture the land.
That makes sense.
And that brings us to the famous Tuatha De Danann.
Oh, yeah.
The name itself, folk of the goddess Danu.
Tells us they're connected to her.
Yes.
But not in that hands-off, you know, typical divine way.
No.
They're more like divinely appointed caretakers.
Yeah, I like that.
Each possessing this incredible mastery over specific skills.
Almost like magical specialists?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Masters of craft, wisdom, magic.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not just watching over creation.
Yeah.
They are actively shaping.
Yeah.
And the video highlights some standout figures, right?
It does.
Like the Dagda, the
Yeah.
chief,
Uh-huh.
this larger-than-life figure
Yeah.
with a booming laugh.
Yes.
And some pretty impressive tools.
His treasures are so much more than just objects, though.
Right.
You know, they're symbolic of the Tuatha De's power and their purpose.
Right.
Take his club, for example.
Oh, yeah.
The club has this ability to both destroy and create. And this really reflects a deep understanding of the cyclical nature of life and death.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there's the never-empty cauldron,
Oh, yeah.
guaranteeing abundance.
Abundance, yes.
And the harp
the heart
that can control the very seasons.
is incredible.
It's like he's got the ultimate toolkit for shaping the
Yeah.
world.
He does.
But he's not the only one.
No, not at all.
What about the Morrigan?
The Morrigan.
She's often depicted as a
A war goddess.
war goddess, right? But there's so much more to her than that.
Oh, absolutely.
I find her fascinating.
Yeah, she's so compelling.
She's associated with crows and
Yeah,
ravens.
yeah.
these creatures that symbolize this, mystery and transformation. She embodies sovereignty, fate, and the use of power, not for aggression, but to, maintain balance.
Yeah, she's like the guardian of natural order.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's this depth to her that goes beyond just, good or evil. She represents those complexities of power
Yeah.
and responsibility.
And responsibility, yes.
And then, of course, we've got Luth, Longarm. What a great name.
Yeah.
This name really speaks to his physical prowess as well as his wide-ranging talents.
That's right.
He's like the ultimate multitasker.
He is in the divine world.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He's associated with skill and mastery in everything. Warfare, craftsmanship, poetry.
Yeah.
His spear, which never misses, is a powerful symbol of precision and effectiveness.
Effectiveness, yeah.
It's like he's the embodiment of striving for excellence
That's a great way to put it.
in everything you do.
Yeah, I like that.
And speaking of resilience, we can't forget Nuada,
No.
the first king of the Tuatha De Danann.
That's right.
He loses an arm in battle but gets a silver one.
Yeah, so he can continue to rule.
And this, to me, is not just about overcoming physical limitations. It's about adaptability
It really is.
and finding ways to lead, even when facing setbacks.
Yeah, that's what resonates with me about Narada's story.
It's a powerful message, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't let loss define you. Adapt and keep going.
Adapt and keep going. That's right.
And, the video mentions so many other figures.
Yeah.
Brigid, associated with healing and smithcraft. Angus, the god of love and poetry. Manannán mac Lir, ruler of the sea and the other world.
Each with their own fascinating stories and roles.
Right, exactly.
But before all these skilled individuals arrive in Ireland, they undergo this intense training period in the 4 cities of the other world.
The other world.
The other world.
This is where things get really mystical.
It is.
It's not just a different place.
No.
It operates on different rules of time and space.
Exactly. It exists beyond our everyday understanding, alongside our world, but not bound by the same limitations.
So, like, their divine university, what were these schools like?
Well, in Phalius,
Yeah.
they honed their wisdom and their spiritual knowledge.
Okay.
In Gorius, they focused on strength and strategy.
Mm-hmm.
In Mirius, it was all about abundance. Right?
Sustenance.
Okay.
And in Findius, they perfected their skills and precision.
Oh, wow.
Each city providing them with the tools and knowledge they would need to rule and shape the land.
So, having mastered all these skills in the other world, the Tuatha De Danann, they set their sights on Ireland.
They do.
But their arrival is far from ordinary.
Right.
They descend upon the island shrouded in mist,
Yeah.
imbued with magic.
It's almost like you can feel a shift in the energy of the land itself.
Yeah.
As if Ireland's waking up to the arrival of these powerful beings.
It's like an announcement, we're here.
But there's a twist.
Yes.
Ireland isn't empty.
Uh-oh.
The Firbolg, another group of inhabitants, are already there.
Wow.
And this sets the stage
For conflict.
for a conflict of
Great.
cultures and ambition.
So the Tuatha De Danann, these skilled, powerful beings, they believe it's their destiny to rule,
They do.
but they're going to have to prove themselves.
That's right. That's quite an entrance.
It raises an interesting question,
Yeah.
In many creation myths, the gods just claim their dominance.
Right.
But here, the Tuatha De Danann, they're going to have to earn their place to prove their worth.
Wow.
Not just through divine, right?
Right.
But through their strength, their strategy, and a deep understanding of the land itself.
Okay, so that's where we're going to pick up in part 2 of our deep dive.
Yeah.
We'll be exploring the clash between the Tuatha De Danann and the Firbolg.
It's a good one.
The rise of new leaders and the constant threat of the Fomorians.
Oh, yeah, those Fomorians.
Can't forget about them.
Can't forget about them.
Okay, so we're back, and we're ready to jump into the heart of this Celtic creation myth. Last time, we left off with the Tuatha De Danann making their grand entrance into Ireland, shrouded in magic and mist, only to find that the Firbolg were already there.
Yeah, kind of like showing up for a party and realizing you weren't actually invited.
Exactly.
Right.
Talk about an awkward first encounter.
Right. What's fascinating is that their arrival isn't actually the beginning of the story.
Oh.
It's more like a chapter in this much longer narrative.
Okay, so where do we need to rewind to?
Well, before we get to that clash, the video we're looking at actually takes us back even further,
Okay.
exploring these different layers of inhabitants that came before the Tuatha De Danann.
Oh, wow. Like way back.
Way back. And it's all detailed in this text called the Liber Gabala Aaron, which translates to the Book of Invasions.
The Book of Invasions sounds kind of intense,
Right.
but it essentially gives us the foundation for this complex story of Irish origins, right?
It does. It blends mythology and history together, giving us a glimpse into the various groups that actually called Ireland home long before the Celts arrived.
Interesting. So who are some of these early inhabitants? Who gets the first chapter in this book?
Well, the story starts with Cessair and her followers who are fleeing this massive flood.
Oh, a flood myth.
A flood myth, yeah.
Okay, we see those in cultures all over the world.
Right, exactly. It speaks to this kind of universal human experience of facing these cataclysmic events and looking for a fresh start.
So it's a flood myth with a Celtic twist.
Exactly.
But wait, it said they all perished except for one guy.
Yeah, only one guy, Fintan MacBocra, survived.
That's rough.
Yeah, and he had to use some pretty serious shape-shifting skills to do it, too.
Oh, wow. Like what?
The Lebor Gabala Aaron says he transformed into a salmon.
A salmon.
Yeah, then an eagle, then a stag, and he lived for centuries
Trees.
to recount the tale. So he becomes this living link between the distant past and the present,
Wow.
a repository of all this ancient wisdom.
That's amazing. Talk about a survivor story. Transforming into a salmon to ride out a flood. That's impressive.
Yeah.
But who comes after Cessair and her crew?
Well, next up we have Partholon and his people.
Partholon. Okay.
And they brought some essential skills with them, like farming and brewing.
Ooh, the essentials.
Right,
On
the building blocks of civilization.
Exactly.
But their time in Ireland wasn't without its challenges.
Of course not. It's a creation myth. What kind of challenges did they face?
Well, for one, they had to deal with the Fomorians, those...
Oh, yeah, the Fomorians, those harbingers of chaos.
Right.
They're going to play a big role in all of this, I have a feeling.
They do. They really do.
Are they like the ultimate bad guys of Irish mythology?
I'd say they're more like the embodiment of those wild, untamed forces of nature, sometimes destructive, sometimes unpredictable,
Okay.
always challenging the order that the Tuatha De Danann will later try to establish.
So they represent chaos.
Yeah, chaos. And unfortunately, Partholon and his people, they eventually succumb to a plague.
Oh, no.
Which serves as a reminder that even with the best skills and the best intentions, survival is never guaranteed.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So Ireland has already seen a lot of drama before the Tuatha De Danann even show up, huh?
Oh, for sure.
It's not this empty land just waiting to be claimed. It's already got these stories of resilience and loss woven into it. Okay, so who comes next in this lineup?
The Nemedians, led by, named.
Named. Okay.
And they also faced the wrath of the Fomorians, which emphasizes that struggle between order and chaos that we were talking about.
Right.
And the Nemedians, they face defeat. They're either driven out or enslaved.
Oh, wow.
Highlighting the cyclical nature of power and the fact that things can change very quickly.
That's true. So each group kind of adds a layer to the story, building on the successes and failures of those who came before.
Exactly.
I love that. So who are the last inhabitants before Tuatha De Danann show up?
That would be the Firbolg.
Okay, the Firbolg.
And they're actually descendants of the Nemedians who eventually returned to Ireland.
Okay.
And after facing their own set of trials, they managed to create this relatively peaceful and structured society.
So they're the ones enjoying their hard-earned peace. When the Tuatha De Danann arrive, all mist and magic, talking about destiny.
Yeah, talk about bad timing.
Right, so it creates this immediate tension between those who have established themselves and these newcomers who believe they have the right to rule.
It's a classic clash.
Right.
And it's important to remember that the Firbolg, they're not pushovers.
Oh.
They've overcome adversity.
Yeah.
They've built a life for themselves in Ireland.
Right, so it's not this simple good guys versus bad guys scenario.
No, not at all.
There's nuance.
Yes, nuance.
There are these clashing perspectives.
Absolutely.
And cultures.
Yeah.
And ultimately a battle for power and legitimacy.
It really is, and this tension erupts into what's called the First Battle of Mag Tuired.
Okay, the First Battle of Mag Tuired.
Which is a pivotal moment in Irish mythology.
So Mag Tuired, what does that mean?
It means Plain of Towers.
Plain of Towers, okay.
And it's believed to be an actual location in County Mayo, Ireland.
Oh, wow. So it's blending myth and geography?
Yeah.
Connecting these ancient tales to real places.
I love that.
Me too. Okay, so we have the setting for this epic showdown. What happens next? Do the Tuatha De Danann just march in and take over?
Not quite. Remember, they spend all that time honing their skills in the four cities of the other world.
Right, right.
So they arrive armed with these powerful weapons, strategic knowledge, and magic.
Okay.
They're prepared,
Yeah.
and they're led by Nuada, who, despite losing his arm,
Right.
returns as king,
Wow.
his silver arm a symbol of his resilience.
I love that image. He's leading the charge, silver arm gleaming. But what about the Fur Bolg? How do they
Yeah.
stack up against this magical army?
While they are brave and skilled warriors,
Yeah.
they lack that supernatural edge that the Tuatha De Danann have. They
Right.
put up a good fight,
Yeah.
but ultimately they are outmatched.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The battle ends in a decisive victory for the Tuatha De Danann, but it comes at a cost.
Oh, what cost?
Nuada is injured again,
No.
and this time fatally.
Oh, Nuada. He was such a crucial figure. Like, he represented justice,
Yeah.
perseverance. His death must have been devastating.
It was a significant loss.
Right.
He represented their leadership, their commitment to order, to fairness,
Yeah.
and his death leaves a void.
Okay, so who steps up? Who fills Nuada's shoes?
This is where the Dagda, with all his energy and those powerful treasures, takes on the mantle of leadership.
The Dagda.
The Dagda.
He's definitely got the personality for it.
He embodies the qualities they need at this moment.
Yeah.
Strength, wisdom, the ability to provide for his people, both physically and spiritually.
It seems like he's the perfect person to rally the troops, especially after such a loss.
He is.
He's got the charisma, the power, and that booming laugh,
Mhm.
Like, that could probably lift anybody's spirits.
Yeah.
But this victory isn't the end of their troubles, is it?
No, you're right. The Fomorians are still out there.
Right. Lurking in the shadows.
Lurking in the shadows. Always a threat.
So the video, it goes into the second battle of Mag Tord, right?
It does.
It seems even bigger.
It is.
Almost like a cosmic showdown.
A cosmic showdown, yes.
Between order and chaos.
Exactly.
Okay, how do they prepare for this? Do they go back to the other world for, like, a refresher course?
Not exactly. But they do rely on the skills and the knowledge they acquired in the four cities.
Okay.
The Dagda's leadership is key,
Right.
but they also rely on Lu's cunning
Ooh.
and his strategic brilliance and, of course, the Morgan.
Right, of course. Can't forget about
With
Holden.
her fierce protective power.
So it's like the ultimate team effort.
Yeah.
Each of them bringing their own unique strength.
Their unique skills to the fight, and there are some moments in this battle that really stand out.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, the video focuses on Lu's confrontation with Balor,
Valor.
the leader of the Fomorians.
Okay.
And he's got this really deadly weapon.
Uh-oh, what is it?
It's called an evil eye.
An evil eye.
Yeah, and it can kill with a single glance.
Wow, talk about intimidating.
It is, it really is.
Okay, so how do you even prepare for that? Like, how do you go up against something that can kill you with a look?
That's what I love about Lu.
Yeah.
He doesn't rely on brute force.
Okay.
He uses precision and a deep understanding of his enemy's weakness.
Oh, that's smart.
And he uses a sling
A sling.
to launch a stone that hits Balor's evil eye,
Oh,
turning its power back on the Fomorians.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Using your enemy's strength against them.
Yeah.
Like mythological jujitsu.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so this win, this secures their place in Ireland, right? Once and for all.
Well, they do win the second battle of Mag Tord,
Yeah.
which solidifies their claim,
Okay.
but it isn't without consequences.
Oh no, here we go again.
And like any good story, there are still some twists and turns to come.
Oh man, I'm on the edge of my seat. What happens next?
Well, that's where we'll pick up in the final part of our deep dive. We'll explore the arrival of a new group, the Milesians, and how the Tuatha De Danann's destiny takes an unexpected turn.
This is incredible. I can't wait. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the Celtic creation myth. And things are about to get really interesting.
They are, we've journeyed through the void.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
witnessed those epic battles
Yeah.
and seen the Tuatha De Danann rise as these powerful rulers of Ireland.
They really earned their place.
They did.
But like any good story,
Yeah.
there's always another twist waiting.
There is, and this one involves a whole new group entering the scene.
Oh, a new group. Who are they?
The Milesians, and according to the Liber Gabala Aaron, they are the ancestors of the Irish people as we know them today.
Wow. Okay, so their arrival, it marks a pretty big shift then.
It does. It's less of a hostile takeover and more like a changing of the guard.
Okay, so we have these super powerful magical beings, the Tuatha De Danann,
Mm-hmm.
and then these regular humans show up, the Milesians.
Yeah.
I imagine that created some tension.
It did. You see the Milesians, they were led by their king, Eber Finn, and they believed they had a legitimate claim to the land.
Oh, so they weren't just there to sightsee.
No, they were there to stay.
Hmm.
And their claim was based on these ancient prophecies and lineages.
Oh, prophecies, right. Those are kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah, especially in mythology.
Yeah, they're like the ancient world's version of a signed contract.
Yeah.
You're destined to rule this land.
Exactly.
But the Tuatha De Danann, they fought hard to establish themselves in Ireland.
They did.
So did they just, like, hand over the keys to the kingdom? Oh, hey, prophecy, here you go.
Not quite. They weren't going to give up their home that easily.
Makes sense.
But this time the conflict was a little different.
Different how?
Well, instead of another epic battle,
Yeah.
they used their magic to create this shroud of mist.
Mist.
Yeah, and storms.
Oh, wow.
Making it nearly impossible for the Milesians to even land.
So it's more like a, you can't touch this kind of move.
Exactly. They're using their powers to protect what's theirs. Okay, but the Milesians, they're persistent, right? They're not going to
Yeah.
back down that easily.
No, they weren't, and they had a secret weapon of their own.
Oh, what's that?
A poet named Emergent,
A poet. Okay.
whose words held a power similar to magic.
Wow, a poet with magical powers. That's awesome.
Right. And he challenged the Tuatha De Danann.
What did he do?
He invoked the very spirit of the land.
The spirit of Ireland.
Yeah, calling upon Ireland itself to grant them safe harbor.
It's like he's appealing to a higher authority.
Exactly. And it speaks to that Celtic belief in the power of words,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to shape reality through language,
I love that.
storytelling.
Okay, so did his poetic plea, did it work?
It did. The mists parted, the storms calmed, and the Milesians were able to land.
No way.
And the Tuatha De Danann,
Yeah,
they witnessed this.
this power.
And they realized that their time as rulers of the physical world, well, it was coming to an end.
Wow, that must have been a tough realization.
It was.
You know, to have to give up this world they fought so hard to protect. Right, but what's incredible is that instead of clinging to power,
Yeah.
the Dagda, being the wise leader he is,
Yeah.
he negotiates a deal with Eber Finn, the Milesian king.
Oh, okay, a deal. I love these mythological bargains.
Me too. So instead of being banished or defeated,
Mm-hmm.
the Tuatha De Danann are granted rulership over the otherworld.
Oh. So they retreat to the other world.
Exactly.
It's not surrender, it's more like a strategic retreat.
It is, and it shows their wisdom
Yeah.
and adaptability.
So they're trading earthly power
Mm-hmm.
for something, I don't know, maybe deeper?
Deeper, yes.
Something more aligned with their true nature.
Exactly. Their strengths lie in magic and safeguarding the ancient wisdom and the enchantment of the land.
Wow, they become the guardians of Ireland's soul.
That's a great way to put it, protectors of its hidden wonders.
Yeah, and this really resonates with so many of those later Irish stories
Mm-hmm.
about fairies, the city.
Yes.
Yeah, those mysterious beings that live in the hills.
Under the...
Yeah, it's like the Tuatha De Danann. They become the source of that enduring sense of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And wonder, that's so much a part of Irish culture.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It really is. It's not an ending.
No.
It's a transformation.
And transformation.
They didn't disappear.
They're still there.
They just shifted their realm of influence.
Yeah.
It became part of the very fabric of the land itself.
Woven into the stories.
Wow. This has been such an incredible journey.
It has.
We started in the void. We saw those epic battles, those divine bargains, and we learned so much about power
Resilience.
and what it means to be connected to a place.
To a place and its history.
It's magic.
It is. And it leaves us with a lot to think about, you know?
Oh, yeah.
What does it say about the Celtic worldview that their gods, they didn't just rule by force. They
Mhm.
had to earn their place. They had to adapt
Yeah.
to find a different way to express their power.
Right. And in the end, they become the guardians of this unseen world.
It's a reminder that true power might not be about dominance, but about understanding,
Mhm.
adaptability, a
Yeah.
deep connection to the forces that shape our world.
And who knows, maybe there's a little bit of that Celtic magic in all of us,
Maybe.
just waiting to be discovered.
Waiting to be discovered.